Hello, everybody. My name is Jack Shopbell, and accompanying me with this online presentation will be Daria Del Park and Matt Dunning. We'll be talking about the David and Lucile Packard Foundation headquarters building. So, just to start off, a little overview of the foundation. It was founded by David and Lucile Packard in 1964, and David Packard was actually the founder of HP Hewlett Packard Computers. They work globally with partners for social, cultural, and environmental change, with some of those areas being climate, land, and water, such as ocean. They have uh, areas in agriculture as well as population and reproductive health and children, family, and community health as well. They're a family foundation, which is considered a foundation that derives its funds from a single family, where at least one, usually more, of the family members are on the board of trustees or an officer in the foundation. And it was funded with $100,000 from David and Lucile Packard, um, which was strategically invested to gain the funds that they have now. They also added in a part of their estate when they passed away as well. They also collaborate with many different organizations, and they award grants to leaders and companies all over the world. And some of those have unsolicited applications, some of them are not. It just depends on the program. So now we can jump into a little bit about the building itself. It was built as a physical manifestation of their commitment to restore ecosystems. They wanted a building to show their long-term commitment to reducing greenhouse gas emissions, as well as aligning themselves more closely with the work of their grantees. They became a certified LEED Platinum building in 2012 with a score of 94 points out of 110, and they were granted the Net Zero Building certification in September 2013 by the International Living Future Institute. And to get that certification, the building has to use less energy than it creates each year. And it is considered the largest net zero energy building in the world with a square footage of 49,000 square feet. The project was managed by Rhodes Dahl, and the architecture and design was done by EHDD Architects, as well as the construction was by DPR Construction. The total cost at completion was $37.2 million, which comes out to roughly $756 per square foot. So now we will go into a little bit about the engineering feats and how they achieved all of these certifications.
Hello everyone, Matt here. Like Jack said, this is a certified platinum LEED building, but how did they do it? How did the designers come up with this idea for the building? Well, one idea that they had was to build a huge central courtyard in the middle of the building so that way it would maximize the amount of daylight going to the interior of the building. Another idea that these designers had was to color the concrete a certain way so that way the ground would not heat up as much. This is called urban heat effect. They wanted to minimize this as much as possible. Rain gardens on the roof, as well as like on sidewalks and other various parts of the property, help to collect rainwater and reduce water usage. And last but not least, the designers had a really good idea of using native plants in their plans to encourage growth of the local ecosystem. So basically, these plants are put here where they belong and they would help the local wildlife thrive around the property. The designers didn't want to build a building that was intrusive. They wanted to build something that was more inclusive, I guess you could say. So now that we know how they accomplished platinum LEED certification, we need to know what makes a platinum certification work, what goes into this building. In this case, this building has net zero energy, all thanks to its 915 solar panels that are all on the roof of this building. They also use effective chill beam technology, which helps a lot with heating and cooling of the rooms. It's essentially putting water through these metal pipes that go through the ceiling. If you look here, these are where those metal pipes are, and it just heats every room in this building through convection. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of rain gardens on this property. What makes water conservation so effective here is they put rain gardens everywhere on this property, from having a green roof to having rain gardens on the ground, and along the sidewalks too. It just really helps conserving water when you have more than one source. And then they all come together and store in two 10,000-gallon tanks for later use. This building, the main goal of this building was to have a positive impact on the ecosystem around it. So up to 95% of the building is made of recyclable materials or recycled materials, I guess you could say. And around 90% of the plants on the property are local too, which definitely helps build a positive impact.
Hello, I am Daria Delparich and I will be talking about energy reduction. The building used 725 megawatts per hour of energy in the last year. The biggest energy consumption is used for heating, cooling, ventilation, and lighting. Eventually, they were able to reduce energy use by 55%. Solar panels produced 418 megawatts per hour of energy, and the building only used 351 megawatts per hour, which allowed the building to reach net zero energy. They were initially designed to produce 275 megawatts per hour of electricity, so it exceeded the amount that they needed. Lighting was reduced by 30%, and HVAC and fan energy was reduced by 75%. The plug loads consumption were reduced by 30%. The use of daylight was maximized by the design of the building, which featured a center courtyard and allowed for reduction of energy by artificial light up to 30%. Light shelves were also used in rooms with artificial light. Some of the other technology used to reduce energy consumption included energy-efficient T8 bulbs, LED lights, and switch sensors. Tripled element windows helped with insulation, and along with the chilled beam technology, heating is able to be turned off once workday begins. As you can see by this presentation, the David and Lucile Packard Foundation headquarters building met its lead goals by keeping a number of things in mind. The goal of net zero energy was the primary goal and was mostly achieved by the use of solar panels. Water conservation was another top goal, and by the use of sustainable landscaping, such as rain gardens and storing rainwater, they were able to reduce water consumption by 40%. We also saw some efforts in material and waste with their recycling program and the use of locally salvaged construction materials. They also focused on a positive ecosystem impact by carefully selecting plant species for their landscape. I also wanted to highlight how all of these efforts must bring a positive work environment to their employees because of all the sustainable agriculture, outside air ventilation, and multiple technologies for maximizing daylight use. All of these efforts have made the David and Lucile Packard Foundation headquarters building exceed their lead goals for a platinum building and provide a nice atmosphere for employees to work in. Thank you for listening to our presentation.